When we think about history, our minds usually jump to presidents, big wars, epic events. But what about the stories that never make it into the textbooks? Today, we're going to be detectives. We're going to piece together the life of one family from over 200 years ago, using just a handful of clues they left behind.
I mean, really think about that for a second. For most people, there are no statues, no monuments. What's left is usually just a faint trail of paper, right? Maybe a few numbers on a page or a forgotten family treasure. Our story today is all about following that trail.
All right, let's meet the people at the center of our mystery. We have Jeremiah McKnew, born around 1804, and Allethia Pickrell, born about 6 years after him. Now, these weren't famous or wealthy people. They were just ordinary. And that's the challenge, trying to rebuild their world from the tiny fragments they left behind.
So, to really understand their life together, we have to rewind a bit. Like any good investigation, you have to start at the beginning. We're going to look at their separate family histories back in early 19th century Maryland.
And what do you know? It turns out both families were from the exact same place, Prince George's County, Maryland. Jeremiah was the son of a man named Nathan McKnew from his first marriage, and Allethia, she was the daughter of Benjamin and Allethia Pickrell. So their worlds were already spinning pretty close to each other long before they ever even met.
Okay, so now that they're on our radar, we can start following their paper trail. This is where the real detective work kicks in, searching for those official records. The hard evidence of a life being lived.
And bingo, here it is, our first solid clue that connects them. It's an official marriage license from Washington, D.C., and it's dated March 26, 1829. This one document is basically the foundation of their entire story, the official start of their new family. But, as we're about to find out, their life together was not going to be simple.
So just a few years after they get married, another document pops up from Jeremiah's side of the family. It's his father Nathan's will. And what's so interesting about this will is that it reveals some serious family drama. In the will, Nathan left Jeremiah and his two full brothers just $5, and no more. Meanwhile, all the kids from his second marriage, they inherited everything. I mean, this wasn't just a small insult. This was a formal disinheritance. It basically meant Jeremiah and Allethia were completely on their own.
Fast forward to 1840 and we find them in the census. Now back then, the census didn't list everybody's name, it was just a bunch of numbers in different age groups. But if you cross-reference with other clues, you can start making some pretty good guesses. And the data here suggests Jeremiah and Allethia had a full house, 6 young children. So their family is growing, things seem to be moving along, but then the story takes a sudden, really tragic turn. This next chapter is all about a deep personal loss and a historical mystery that would take more than 150 years to solve. Just 5 years after that census was taken, Allethia died. She was only 35 years old, and just like that, Jeremiah was a widower, left completely alone to care for their very young family. Okay, so here's the puzzle. Back in 1845, they didn't really issue official death certificates, so for decades the exact date she passed away was just gone. It was lost to time. So how in the world did we find it? Well, the answer is absolutely incredible. Fast forward to 1998. A family researcher is carefully looking through an old family Bible, and these 2 tiny forgotten scraps of paper just flutter out. This was the moment the cold case broke wide open. This is what was written on that first scrap. I mean, think about it. In one sentence, it confirmed everything. Her name, her parents' names, and the exact date of her death, May 3rd, 1845. A mystery solved by a message hidden away for over a century and a half. And get this, the second scrap was just as amazing. It identifies Allethia's grandmother on her father's side, Elizabeth Barnes, and gives her death date all the way back in 1825. This little piece of paper pushed the family story back another whole generation, a clue that no official record ever caught. It just shows how powerful these little family artifacts can be. So, we solved the big mystery of Allethia's death, but that leaves us with one final unanswered question. After losing his wife, what in the world happened to Jeremiah? We can trace his next few steps. We know he remarried a woman named Sarah, and they had another child. We see him one last time in the 1850s census, living in D.C. and working as a laborer. And after that, nothing. He vanishes. The trail goes completely cold. His final years, where he died, where he's buried, it's all a complete mystery. That final census record does give us one last really humanizing detail, though. Right next to his name, the census taker made a little note that Jeremiah, at 41 years old, could not read or write.
That one small fact speaks volumes about his world, his opportunities, and maybe why he never left behind any letters or journals of his own. His story had to be told by others.
So, after all this detective work, what's the big picture here? What does piecing together one family's fragmented story actually teach us about the past?
Well, for one, it's a huge reminder that real history is found in the lives of everyday people. It proves that the smallest clues can unlock the biggest secrets. It also shows you the difference between official records, which give you the basic skeleton of a story, and those precious family artifacts, which, well, they give you its heart. And maybe most importantly, it reminds us that not every story has a neat, tidy ending.
The story of Jeremiah and Allethia was saved by a marriage license, a census record, and 2 tiny scraps of paper tucked inside an old Bible. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What hidden stories are waiting in your family's history? Just waiting for a detective like you to come along and piece them all back together.